On December 13, the Delhi police clashed with thousands of students and teachers of Jamia Millia Islamia. Reportedly, the police beat them up with lathis and used tear gas to disperse the massive crowd. The situation emerged just as the students had marched out of the university campus towards the Indian Parliament, protesting against the recently passed Citizenship Amendment Act. Since the incident at Jamia, daily instances of police action and resulting casualties have been making rounds in the news cycle. 20 people have died in Uttar Pradesh, 2 in Karnataka and 5 in Assam since the protests began. It's shameful to compare this to the pro-democracy agitation in Hong Kong, currently in its 9th month, which has a total death toll of 2. The fundamental rights to freedom of speech and expression and the right to assemble peacefully are constitutionally protected rights under Article 19. Why then is the police being able to suppress dissent by use of excessive force? In this episode of So Basically, we look at existing colonial laws and try to understand where the police gets this power from. Following the Sepoy Mutiny of 1857, the Police Act 1861 was enacted to support the political and executive interests of the British Empire. This act was designed to suppress the struggles of our freedom movement, and the same act is being used today to suppress public dissent. We also have section 144 of the Code of Criminal Procedure, which authorizes the government to prohibit the assembly of 4 or more people in a public space in case of a nuisance or apprehended danger. This section was also applied various times by multiple state governments in the last few weeks, along with internet shutdowns. Since independence, no government has taken a firm stance on police reforms, nor have they tried to replace colonial laws that are not in line with India's democratic identity.
The regret is that after 47, while Government of India thought of changes in different spheres of life and government activity at different periods of time, but every party found it convenient to retain the Act of 1861. They found that here was an agency which would act at their behest, which could be at their behest, and which could be used and misused to further their political agenda.
In 2006, the Supreme Court delivered a historic judgment instructing the central and the state governments to comply with a set of 7 directives laying out practical mechanisms to kickstart police reforms. These directives sought to achieve 2 main objectives: functional autonomy for the police and enhanced accountability by the police.
प्रकाश सिंह जी, इतना आप लोगों ने मतलब आपका प्रयास था और देश की सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने आपके प्रयास को सराहा, उस पर ये पॉलिटिकल क्लास को दिक्कत क्यों होती है, या ये कभी वो दूर नहीं हो सकती?
देखिए, पॉलिटिकल क्लास को दिक्कत तो है। एक साधारण समझने की बात है कि जिसके हाथ में सत्ता है, शक्ति है, पावर है, वो उसको स्वेच्छा से कभी नहीं छोड़ना चाहता। भले वो जनहित में हो उसको छोड़ना, पर ये बात उसके समझ में नहीं आती, और समझ में आती भी है तो वो उसको समझना नहीं चाहता है। हम सत्ता नहीं छोड़ेंगे, हम पावर नहीं छोड़ेंगे, हमारे में सब कुछ केंद्रित होना चाहिए। और इस समय जो पुलिस से जो शक्ति मिलती है वो पॉलिटिकल क्लास में केंद्रित है, ब्यूरोक्रेसी में केंद्रित है। न तो पॉलिटिकल क्लास उसको छोड़ना चाहता है, न ब्यूरोक्रेसी उसको छोड़नी चाहती है।
If this was carried out, the police force would get 3 things: security of tenure, streamlined appointment and transfer processes, and the creation of a buffer body between the government and the police. But sadly, neither the central nor any of the state governments have complied with this directive. Section 3 of the Police Act says that the state government has complete control over the police force. It also goes on to say that the state government cannot give this control to any other person, officer or court. Police officers are public officials that the society has authorized, even obliged, to use force to protect the citizens and their right to life. Ensuring that the police uses this force equitably, economically and legally should be at the core of any police administration. But sadly in India, due to colonial laws, the police protects the interests of the ruling party rather than the citizens. What we need is a police force that is insulated from political interference, is accountable and responsive to the people. It should respect the law and follow procedural safeguards, especially at trying times like these. Their job should be to make sure that protests happen peacefully, not to suppress them altogether. So basically, peaceful protests cannot and should not be labelled as nuisance and oppressed, that too with lethal violence. They are a justified exercise of free expression, and not to mention a fundamental right of the citizen of a democratic country. For more information, visit spontaneousorder.in And as always, like, share and subscribe.